Bleach Thousand Year Blood War Part 4 Episode 2 delivers another incredible chapter that balances emotional storytelling with some of the biggest battles in the series. While the action remains spectacular throughout the episode, several important character moments quietly add even more depth to the story. From Uraheim's touching realization to Urahara finally revealing his long-awaited Bankai, every scene pushes the final arc closer to its dramatic conclusion. The episode begins with a surprisingly peaceful scene as Uraheim quietly looks at a beautiful red flower. Soon after, Tatsuki joins her and Uraheim comments that the flower reminds her of Ichigo. Tatsuki immediately disagrees because the flower's bright red color does not resemble Ichigo at all. At first, this conversation seems like a simple exchange between friends, but the meaning becomes much clearer as the episode progresses. Uraheim was never talking about appearance. Instead, she was talking about what the flower represents. Just like the flower burns with its vivid color, Ichigo's heart constantly burns with the desire to protect everyone around him. Throughout the entire series, Ichigo has repeatedly placed himself in danger for the sake of others, and Uraheim understands this better than almost anyone else. Rather than simply standing behind him and hoping he succeeds, she decides that this is also her moment to protect the person who has always protected everyone else. It is a subtle but meaningful reminder of how much Uraheim has grown since the beginning of the story. Meanwhile, the battle between Kasuke Urahara and Askin Lavar continues to become even more fascinating. During their confrontation, Urahara directly asks Askin why he is fighting so seriously when he never appeared to be someone driven by loyalty. It is an interesting question because Askin has always behaved differently from many of the other Sternritter. He often seems relaxed, sarcastic, and more interested in surviving than proving his devotion. Askin surprisingly agrees with Urahara's observation. He openly admits that loyalty is not what motivates him. Instead, his curiosity drives him forward. He genuinely wants to witness the world that Yhwach intends to create after achieving his ultimate goal. This conversation gives Askin additional depth because it shows that not every follower of Yhwach serves him for the same reason. Some fight out of loyalty, others because of destiny, while Askin simply wants to see where everything leads. Even before this episode, it was obvious that Askin possessed overwhelming power. His abilities make almost every attack against him extremely dangerous, and Urahara quickly realizes that ordinary techniques will never be enough to overcome such an opponent. That is why he finally decides to reveal one of the greatest weapons in his entire arsenal. After years of anticipation, viewers finally witness Urahara's Bankai in action. The reveal completely lives up to its mystery. A giant woman appears and demonstrates the extraordinary ability to reconstruct and repair anything that has been damaged. Instead of simply increasing destructive power like many other Bankai, Urahara's ability perfectly reflects his personality as both a scientist and an inventor. It allows him to rebuild what has been broken, making it one of the most unique Bankai introduced in the series. The Bankai immediately demonstrates its incredible potential by repairing the injuries caused by Askin. Even Urahara's damaged eyes are restored, allowing him to continue fighting despite the devastating attacks he previously suffered. This shifts the battle into an entirely new phase as both fighters begin pushing their abilities to the limit. Even with such an extraordinary power, however, victory remains far from certain because Askin still controls the deadly sphere surrounding them. One of the reasons Urahara remains one of the most beloved characters in Bleach is because intelligence has always been his greatest weapon. This episode once again proves that while some characters dominate through overwhelming strength, Urahara wins by thinking several steps ahead. Every obstacle that appears is met with careful preparation, clever planning, and solutions that nobody else could have predicted. Even when Askin appears to have complete control over the battlefield, Urahara refuses to panic because he is already prepared for possibilities that others never considered. That preparation eventually pays off when unexpected assistance arrives from outside the dome created by a skin. This moment perfectly reinforces Urahara's greatest strength. He rarely relies on luck. Instead, he creates situations where his plans continue working even under impossible circumstances. It is another reminder that defeating Urahara is never simply about overpowering him, because his greatest advantage is always his ability to prepare for the future. Elsewhere, Ichigo and Urahara finally move closer to Yhwach. Before confronting the Quincy King, Ichigo entrusts Urahara with the responsibility of protecting him while he focuses entirely on the battle ahead. It is another meaningful moment that reflects the trust they have built over the course of their long journey together. The confrontation between Ichigo and Yhwach quickly becomes deeply personal. Yhwach attempts to claim that he is Ichigo's true father because of the Quincy blood flowing through Ichigo's veins. Ichigo immediately rejects this claim without hesitation. For him, fatherhood has never been determined by blood alone. His identity was shaped by the people who raised him and the family who loved him. When Yhwach goes even further by insulting Ichigo's mother, Ichigo completely loses his composure. That insult destroys any possibility of a calm conversation and marks the true beginning of their long-awaited battle. At the same time, the confrontation between Yuri Ueshida and Jugram Hashwalth also reaches another level. The episode makes it very clear that Jugram remains one of the most terrifying opponents on the battlefield. As Yhwach's closest subordinate and the second strongest Quincy still standing, he possesses both incredible strength and unmatched composure. Yuryu is undeniably powerful, but this battle demonstrates that raw ability alone will not be enough to overcome someone like Jugram. Going forward, Yuryu will almost certainly need to rely on his intelligence, strategy, and perhaps abilities that have not yet been fully revealed if he hopes to stand any chance against such an overwhelming opponent. Their battle is no longer simply a clash of strength. It is becoming a test of conviction, planning, and who can outthink the other when everything is on the line. Overall, Bleach Thousand-Year Blood War Part 4 Episode 2 successfully combines emotional storytelling with spectacular action, while setting up even greater confrontations ahead. Urahara embraces her desire to protect Ichigo. Urahara finally unveils the mysterious Bankai that fans have waited years to witness. Ichigo begins his decisive battle against Yhwach after defending the memory of his mother. And Yuryu faces perhaps the greatest challenge of his entire life against Jugram. Every storyline continues raising the stakes, making it clear that the final battles of the Thousand-Year Blood War have only just begun.